I mean, I'm always talking about it. I'm always talking about solutions. It's like, let's quit complaining about what the bad guys are doing, and let's rewrite our own way we want this world. That's bottom line it, and that's the last thing they want us to ever do. They want us to keep our focus on what they're doing, be afraid of them, be concerned with them. And in this game, you just keep going to higher and higher levels. I'm really starting to tune into that right now because, sometimes you'll think, like, let's say an Alex Jones or something, you'll say, how come, this guy gets away with saying these things? Well, I think it's because he doesn't really inspire people to the solutions too much. It's more the ranting, the raving, the frustration. It's time for us to evolve and grow up and mature, and let's take the bull by the horns. The earth shall be, bestowed upon the righteous, right? I mean, if that's written in the Quran, someday that has to happen. Why not now?
Absolutely.
Why can't that be like right around the corner? And if we start creating in our own minds, in our own plans, what kind of world do we want? Okay, obviously, we as Muslims, we don't want the naked woman washing the car in front of our children or in front of anybody, we don't want the pork slipped into the hamburger at the halal place, We don't want any of this. We don't want the medical mafia poisoning people and robbing them at the same time. It's just everything, everything needs to go. The whole thing needs to go. Their system needs to go. But in order for their system to go, we're going to have to replace it with our own system. And I would, I'd just like to see more focus from the Ummah on this, where are we planning on going? I know I have some really big plans in my own head where I'd like us to go, natural, I'm all about natural healing, anybody knows about me, but, I'm always trying to teach about natural healing, get off the medical mafia. This is the biggest scam going, one of the biggest ones,
Absolutely.
And you guys, I was so glad when you touched on that in the arrivals. And also, I saw somebody at the forum, they said, how dare you include chakras in the arrivals? So I've got to ask you, did you cut that out of the finished cut? Because part 46, part 46 was my favorite part.
Yeah, that was amazing.
That was a beautiful part. That was my favorite part of the thing. I was so glad to see that there because I work with a sort of energy healing called quantum touch. And people will say, some people that might not be open-minded or something, they say, oh, that's from Shaitan. And it's like, okay, lay it out for me. Why is this from Shaitan? How come these guys are allowed to play these games for evil purposes, but it's just a trick from them to tell you not to play with the same powers? Allah's telling us right in the Quran, I created you as the top of creation. You all are the top of creation. If we would just tap into our potential, it's just a matter of us getting in line with what Allah wants us to do and watch all the doors open up, all the powers come flowing to, just come flowing into our hands. That's how I see it, at least, because I've seen this in my own little world, my own little example. I've put it to the test. It's just like, the way the whole arrivals came about. You said, coincidence if there can be such a thing. Right, there is no such thing as coincidence, You were meant to catch in on part 3, and Abdullah Hashim was, trusted you with the password and all that. It just, everything came to be. And I don't think anybody could have predicted the effect that, this whole series has had. Yeah. So, I don't know.
I was the last one to predict that. Noriega could not even believe it, and we didn't even know because when we had released it, I think it was up to like episode 20, we were still getting 2,000 to 3,000 views, and then we took a little trip. There was, if you remember, there's like a little interlude, and me and Noriega had taken a little trip. I forget if it was summer or if it was winter, but anyway, we had a short vacation off, and when we didn't check the internet for a week, and when we came back, we had seen that it had jumped from 2,000 to I think 18,000 views or something.
Wow!
We were like, what had happened when we were gone? Who has been talking? And
wow.
It was cool because when we left a little note telling people, spread this information. We didn't think that they'd take it that literally, and they all just got up and started spreading it. And I'm always completely indebted to all these guys, everyone on the Wake Up Project, even the haters, man, even the people who don't like our stuff and are making videos against us. they're still spreading the information one way or the other.
Exactly.
I know there's series out there that are trying to give the information from their perspective, and it conflicts with our information, but that doesn't anger me the least bit, because you know what, at least he's showing the world that there is something false out there, and you have to connect to something true. Even if it's not what I'm talking about, and even if he's trying to poke fun at me or like talk something against our series, that's fine. You're still waking people up. That's all that matters.
Yeah. Get people questioning and waking up.
And when it came to the chakra thing, I mean, I was, pretty surprised that, there'd be a lot of Muslims who were angered with that. I don't think there's anything wrong with the concept of the chakras. I think it's extremely justifiable. I mean, we're not telling people to go become Hindus or become Buddhists at all.
Right.
And in fact, we studied the chakras from an Islamic perspective. If you remember in the series, each chakra, we described it from an Islamic perspective, whether it be a hadith or a Quranic verse, that described the very thing about that. I mean, if I learn something from another school that's obviously going to benefit me, why am I going to reject it? Because it's not available in Sunnah?
Right.
I mean, what I know from hadith is that Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, search for knowledge even if it comes from China.
Yes.
So, what is there in China? I mean, if we want to take it literally, then there is actual knowledge in China. If we want to take it metaphorically, then there's knowledge all over the world. It doesn't have to be completely bound by Quran and Sunnah, but Quran and Sunnah are supposed to be your base. It's where you come back to. It's whenever you gain new knowledge, bring it back to that. If it works, take it in. If it doesn't work, put it aside. But don't limit yourself to that only.
Right.
I mean, that's how I see things. I don't think everyone else would agree, but...
Well, I sure agree, because, I mean, I personally work with energy, and I've seen the effect that it has, and I've seen people in pain or sick or something, and then just see the end result. And, I know there's another energy form of healing, which is called Reiki, right? And apparently you have to do some sort of a chant along with it. Now, maybe, some people could argue, well, whatever the heck you're chanting, maybe that's questionable. So I could say, okay, yeah, maybe. But, like, when I'm doing it, I'm just calling on Allah, because Allah says He's the healer in the Quran. It's like, okay, you're the healer. I'm just asking, if it works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't. It's you're the boss, I'm just a little one trying to help another human being. And if it goes, I'm glad. Why? If I say that prayer beforehand, how in the world could someone come to me and say, oh, it's from the shaitan? Well, if it was from the shaitan, I asked Allah that if it was from the shaitan, please don't let it work. So, I mean, there's my protection. So I've put it to the test with my own life. So, thank you for your opinion, but, go test life. Go taste the universe. It's really a big place. There's lots going on. It's really exciting. So exciting. Wow. So, well, is there any last thing that you, I don't know, any kind of last message that you would want to say to, I don't know, anything? We've got like another 10 minutes or so, and I don't know, is there anything we should...
You guys run out of questions?
Oh, yeah, is there a chance that we could get Abdullah Hashim on our next show or something and interview him? Or is that a really long shot?
Guy.
He's a what?
It's
Shy
not
guy?
too long of a shot. You know what? Surprisingly enough, I know
He's
it's
a shy guy? Are you
doesn't.
serious?
Well, he doesn't like to be too public. I mean, I think he was back in the past, but he started to try to go a bit more internal. He's doing his own little thing. But I'll obviously put in a good word for you guys. I think he'll accept, depending on the subject.
Ooh, that would be awesome.
Yeah, I mean, the Age of Appearance. I mean, I watched that, and I was
a huge fan.
That was a serious.
It blew me out of my mind.
Yeah, I mean, that was a serious effort to
link
up all the
that.
hadith with all the current events. I mean, I can only imagine the work that went into that. I don't know.
Yeah.
I was just.
And when he was working on that movie, he was just a person you could not get a hold of.
I believe
No phone, no email, nothing. This guy was alone with his books and his research. And when this guy puts his mind to something, I mean, he always humbles me by the amount of work he puts in. I mean, I'm such a lazy person compared to the guy. The guy made 483 episodes. Come on.
I know.
Whoever does that. There's no series. Come on. They're all 10 minutes each.
It's amazing.
And then he did The Age of Appearance. Yeah, The Age of Appearance, I mean, obviously a lot of people found it, that it wasn't, concurrent with their beliefs. But you know what? It was an actually extremely interesting film, definitely worth watching. Never mind what your belief system is. You have to see it and you have to understand that, okay, maybe you don't believe this, but there are people out there that believe this, and there are hadiths that are old, whether you consider them inauthentic or authentic, but somehow they're linking up with modern hadiths.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
So, I mean, it's just worth thinking about. And you know what? If the only thing the film achieves is gets people thinking about the Mahdi and thinking about the end of times, and that's a good thing.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you have people thinking that the end of the world is coming, or at least the beginnings of the end of the world is coming, then people are going to start changing their lives for the better.
Well,
they're going to realize, you know what, time to do something about this. You know, I'm not going to sit around and play video games all day. There's something more important out there.
Well, let me ask you, for you, end times, what does that represent to you? Because I have my own vision of what I think end times might be. But what's your sort of vision of what end times might be?